Should I go to a public or a private school for CRNA school? Well, in this video, we're going to talk all about that. So definitely keep watching. My name is Christine and welcome to a new video. If this is your first time here and you want to become a CRNA or grow your CRNA career, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss a thing. In this video, I'm going to talk about, when you think about CRNA school, there are multiple options that you can consider. There are private schools as well as there's public schools. But sometimes, depending on your budget, you may not be able to afford a school that has a high tuition, or you may say to yourself, you know what, I really want to go to this school, but it's an out-of-state school as private school, or it is a public school, in-state school. What should I do, Thrive CRNA? Well, I would say you got to learn and understand what options that you have in front of you, depending on the state, depending on the region, depending on the program. Some programs are more competitive, while other schools may not be as competitive. But in general, when you're considering going into CRNA school, it definitely is a competitive program. It can even be more competitive than medical school. So when you think about a public schools are known to being more cost effective. They have a lower tuition, and there's a lot of government and state fundings that help with the tuition and fees for the program. While a private school has been known to be more expensive, and therefore you're going to pay a lot more money when you go to a private school. Also, say for example you live in New York and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I see this program in Nebraska and I love this program. The class size is what I want. The program looks what I want. But it is a public school. I'm a resident in New York, but will I be able to get the local state institution tuition for that school? Well, no. So there's also another thing you gotta think about is it an in-state school? Meaning are you a resident of that specific state versus are you an out-of-state resident? So, and another thing to think about, doesn't matter if it's a private or public school, when you go to another state that you're not a resident to, you will be paying a higher tuition for that program and for that state because you're an out-of-state applicant. Versus if you live, for example, in New York and you apply to a school, give you an example, University at Buffalo, nurse anesthesia program, you're in-state. Yes, you're in New York City, but you're going to go upstate New York to go to school. You will pay that state tuition. For example, you'll be an in-state tuition fee, which can be great. But always remind yourself that, yes, you want to go to CRNA school, you want to, of course, be cost-effective. But sometimes your journey can be kind of rocky. You may not have the best grades, but you may have a strong application, or vice versa. So there's a lot of things to consider because just because you may say to yourself, I don't even know if I'm going to be accepted into a CRNA program because this, that, and third, you never know, okay? You never know. You may have the years of experience, you may have that certain personality, you may have that knowledge base that they're looking for. You may have a lot of activities that you've been involved in. And yes, maybe your GPA is not the strongest, but they don't only look at your GPA. They look at the whole picture of you as a person. Because at the end of the day, you can have a 4.0 GPA and not be a strong applicant for a program because of other factors. It's not about GPA. It's about you as a person, and it's also about your application in general. About your recommendations, how you do in your interview, what kind of activities you're involved in, how's your resume look, how's your personal essay look. Those are all things that are taken into consideration. So definitely don't beat yourself down and say, I want to go to this public school, and yes, this is the school I want to go to. Apply to public and private schools. What I recommend you doing is taking a list, maybe think about 5 schools that you're interested in, and rank them from the school that you want to go to. Like that's the school that you're like, oh my God, that's my A1 school, versus a school that maybe is not the top priority school, it's the 5th school. So rank them from the best to the worst. Not the worst, but maybe the school that you just don't see yourself going to. Throw your application out there into the universe and see what happens. Of course, you want to go to that school that you want to look at and you're really, that's it. But you know what? Sometimes the universe has other plans for you. Maybe you're meant to be at a certain school in another area. And I know it's hard to think, oh my gosh, I want to be a CRNA, but do I travel, maybe you have to. I mean, I remember when I was in school, one of my classmates, he was from California, all on the way on the West Coast. And he went to school in New York. He had a family with beautiful children and a wife. And he had to leave for 2.5, 3 years to be in CRNA school. And he did it. And he did everything he can to keep in contact with them. Skype, FaceTime. He went to visit on his vacation. So he made it work. And you can make it work. I mean, sometimes we don't like change. Sometimes we say to ourselves, change is difficult. But you know what? To be a CRNA, to be a nurse, to be a person in general, it's very important to try to be invincible in a sense that try new things, try to change a little bit and move things around to make things work, because sometimes dreams require sacrifice, and you got to stop caring what people think in order to achieve your goals in life. Another thing to consider when you're thinking about CRNA school, public versus private, sometimes the programs, when you do look at the program, in regards to how tuition is based, when you're paying for tuition, it may be class by class, it could be credit by credit, or it can be semester by semester. So definitely consider that when you're looking into a school, private versus public, in regards to how much tuition will cost. Now think about this, when you're going to CRNA school in general, the tuition or the amount for that program per semester is going to be expensive. I've been looking and did some research and looking at a lot of the schools that it could be a 6-figure tuition at the end of the day when you graduate, and that's something you got to consider. That are you willing to have that type of debt under your belt? For me, I did it, and you know what? When you think about being a CRNA, you're going to be compensated. You're going to be compensated with a higher salary. Definitely click the link above to look at different salaries for a new CRNA and to basically see yourself, maybe is this for me, maybe this is not for me. Definitely comment below if you are looking at a school that's public versus private, and let me know the differences between tuition that you've seen. I am here in Hawaii and I am loving it. I'm with my family and I'm with my kids, but I'm here to educate you on YouTube. Even though I am in another state or I'm in another country, depending on where you're located, I am still here providing you content in regards to CRNAs as well as CRNA school. So definitely keep watching. And if you want to learn more about CRNAs and how to grow your CRNA career, definitely click this playlist over here that can give you step-by-step how to become a CRNA, as well as this list over here if you want to grow your CRNA career. Thanks for watching. See you next time.